Welcome. So nice to have you with me today. I'm Dr. Z, and this is Fasting Space, an opportunity to come together, walk together toward health and wellness, maybe do a little fasting together, grab a coffee or tea, and have a chat, do some learning, hopefully, and sharing. Fasting an opportunity to me more than anything to move toward peace. When I think about the weight loss space, I think about a diet. I think about counting calories and numbers. Anybody feeling overwhelmed by data and numbers? Say fasting to me, as much as anything, about finding peace within the body, peace with ourselves, stopping any kind of battle. You think about the way culture might see fasting as a battle. We're struggling not to eat. We're doing these things. I say we are taking the total inversion of these processes here and recognizing that fasting is openness. It is a space of peace in the body. And when we see that we are a mind body, and that together, mind and body and spirit, forming this whole being, that as we're finding peace in the body, helping the body to calm down our craving for food, finding contentment and power within ourselves, that we're doing the same thing in the mind, that we can quiet the mind to find a place of stillness and peace in the mind as well. Today, I'm going to help us move forward toward that with this beautiful book. Have you ever read this, The Alchemist, by Paulo Coelho, if I can say that right? Isn't the book just beautiful? I love the yellow and orange. The cover, I think, is the most beautiful cover. It's symbolizing the treasure, the gold. This is the most endearing little book about a quest to find our heart, find what the heart seeks, the personal legend, as the book would frame it. And, this is not a big book. Reading through it is one of the most pleasant books I read. I just had a smile on my face. If you want to just have some fun as much as anything, read this book. Have you read it? Let me know. What did you think? Reading through it was such a joy because it felt at one moment like just reading like a kid's book, almost like a fairy tale. It's like magical, but it's like also really deep. And I'm going to read a section of it for you a little bit, just to give you a flavor of it, the type of thing that I really like and that is inspiring to me. Was doing a lot of thinking yesterday about inspiration and a path of change. I put together a little short video on where I talk about acceptance. Acceptance, as it's hitting me, is so interesting because it's like change. We want to change. How do we really change? Here's the paradox: by truly accepting things. And when we actually are accepting things, we stop fighting. And when we stop fighting, we can flow. And just take a deep breath. That's what that's telling me. Doesn't that sound good? Doesn't that feel good? Stop fighting and start flowing. Put away the calculators and the special little hacks. I love a good, life hack, but maybe the real hack is stop looking for another hack and just be present with the body and ourself. So what the alchemist can teach us. You might travel all over the world seeking your treasure. That's what he's doing. What a tale. Only to find, I don't want to spoil the book for you, but the treasure may or may not be very close to where you started. But it might take quite a journey to get there, and isn't that our life? We go on such a journey. And And many times we are going on a journey. We are looking for something. I put together a couple little videos yesterday. One is about how we're always looking for things externally, when sometimes the journey we need to take is within, and that's kind of been the kick that we're on. I think we can be totally disconnected from the heart. I said in that other session, like, do you realize you even have a human heart in here, and what does that mean? And when I say the heart, we can reduce the heart just to the physical. And that's fine, okay? The physical heart is incredible. Think it's so big. You don't realize how big it is, and there's like sending blood throughout the whole body. We can find some gratitude for that. But then when I'm really saying the heart, I'm meaning our emotional center, the core of our being, that whether you call it emotional center or spiritual center, a place deeper, perhaps, than our just actual consciousness. Like, we have our thoughts and we have the mind, but then do you try to tap into it sometimes? Sometimes it feels like in the heart and sometimes in the gut, where it's like when we are really at a place where we are, at a crossroads, we're looking for something. I think what we're looking for is wisdom from the body and wisdom within. And, many times the body has the gut feeling, We get into that a little bit in The Alchemist. When you silence all the noise, look at the fasting space it's bringing there. Between mind and body, meditation and fasting. Silence the noise of everything that is coming in to distract us from our true purpose, what they would call in this book, our personal legend. Isn't that the place where we can start hearing a message from the heart? Listen to this quote. Here is a quote to kick off our thinking from The Alchemist. Check out this. Don't give in to your fears. If you do, you won't be able to talk to your heart. A big message in this book. How do you actually listen? How do you talk to your heart and find the direction that you are looking for? And isn't this a big thing that we have to do in our life in general? Just overcoming fear. Fear can come in so many different fashions. And can sneak up on us. I say weight loss, it isn't really a math problem. This is what I want to get toward. It is a connection problem. If we really want to get in the deepest path, I say is a connection to our heart. I say, what do we really want? That was a question we were asking in the fall. When we're trying to prioritize in our life, and then we drill down in that in an even deeper question. Who am I? Who is this person that is on a journey here? We have been on a journey, and we say, we get to a point, you decide, hey, I need to tune into a weight loss channel, I need to hear some perspective, okay? Say some fashionista, I don't like, at least in this one area, say, I don't like quite where this has gone. We need to change course. It takes awareness to do that. Maybe we have been through cycles of trying and working on a weight loss process. It hasn't quite taken me where I want. We're looking for something else. Maybe fasting is that thing. And especially fasting, if you have heard of it, from the perspective that I'm sharing, which is very kind and very gentle and thoughtful. But then we can be afraid to move forward. And I think The Alchemist, just in general, a book that is telling us not to be afraid, to listen to the heart, and to take action. And this is really the process. This is why I got so excited thinking of it. I was like, I read The Alchemist a couple years ago. I read it in like 2 days because it just flows. I couldn't put it down because it was so much fun. And just inspiring, that, oh yes, this is what we need to do. This is what I need to do. And this is what we need to do if we need to take powerful steps forward in health. We need to get over our fears, take action in the positive direction, listening to the heart. Are there fears that you have that resonate with you? If you are on a journey, say, are you looking for a treasure? Like in this space, maybe on a weight loss path, we say the goal that we're looking for is it weight loss? Okay, that's the first level. That's the obvious thing. Like the treasure in The Alchemist is, the gold that is in a faraway land that he's going to find, We have a thing that we're looking for, and then the next level, the thing that we're really looking for. Love and peace and contentment, joy in life. Sometimes we set out on a journey for one thing and we end up finding something deeper. That's what I really want for everybody. To recognize that you are enough right now without changing anything. Don't have to do anything. Nothing is required, right? This is the perspective that we want to develop with ourselves. It's how we build a deep acceptance and love for ourselves. And from that place is how we can actually flow out and actually be the change that we are seeking. Absolutely. I say, how are you doing, right? So, think about these things. How are you doing right now? I would love to hear. Feel free, throw in the chat, throw in the comments. Let me know. How are you doing and how are you hoping to be doing? As you listen to this, and as I'm going to get into our little passage, think about what are you hoping to hear, from the heart? What emotions are you feeling from it? I do a little reflecting. Do a little reflecting with me as we're moving forward in our weight loss space. So we're going to try to open up some fasting space, which to me always means a food-free space and an eating window that is full of the most nutritious food that we can find and afford, the highest quality fuel that we want to care for our body with. I made a little list here of there's things that people have shared recently on the channel. Okay, fear of hunger. This is like the top thing. Like say this can be an unpleasant feeling in the body, and I totally recognize that, and I've experienced a lot of that. I will tell you, that is the type of thing that I have found. The fear of it is often worse than the experience of it. Maybe you say not always, but many times. We have tools, we have ways of dealing with hunger. Here's a beautiful one. Grab a coffee or tea, water of some fashion, stay hydrated. Can quench hunger just like it can quench thirst. And so we're sitting here, I'm, doing this live in the morning, or say no breakfast is happening. We're not breaking the fast. We are sitting here feeling content with a nice warm beverage. It's like a tea right here. I've switched primarily from coffee over to herbal tea just to keep the caffeine out. Caffeine can be a beautiful tool as an appetite suppressant. I love coffee probably as much as anyone, but I have found, all right, if I keep the caffeine down, especially real early, keeps the anxiety level down, keeps things in a very calm and centered space that I've just really started liking a lot. But all these things are tools. Check out my hunger video series. I've got many videos full of thoughts on it. and then, of course, many other fasting aids. I tell people, don't be afraid of hunger. Hunger is something you can have a conversation with, and it's actually leaning into it is how you overcome it, just like almost everything else in life. As we lean into the difficulty, we gain mastery over it and overcome it. So if you have struggled with hunger, I want to give you a great encouragement. The irony, here's another paradox. Fasting is a tool that can help us overcome hunger. Totally amazing. It's actually eating all the time that drives up the hunger, because hunger is primarily a tool that the body uses to coordinate our timing of digestion and eating. When we're eating all the time, the body thinks we're going to be eating all the time. We end up feeling hungry all the time. And so you want to put that in its place, right? Put that in its place. Okay, other things that people have brought up on the channel. Starvation mode. This is something that you will hear in society and in culture, and we talk a lot about it, or we can at least say, oh, fasting I shouldn't do. And I've talked with many nutritionists. I've given talks with many nutritionists. And it leads us to an incredibly insightful point, which I love to talk about. And maybe this is an angle, I have to think quick, that I haven't quite gotten at as a bridge to people who are stuck in this place. Starvation mode is a real thing. The body will slow our metabolism. Like if we are not eating for an extended period of time, everything about the body is designed to work in the most efficient way. And there are no buttons to push that change the programming. How the body works, it is a vehicle that responds to the environment. And so, wouldn't it be nice if we could just have a little control panel like Data on Star Trek? You just open it up and you could access things and reprogram. You say, I'm going to dial up my metabolism to level 99 so that, it's just... Okay, but the only things that we can do, we can change the environment, right? And we can change how we move through it. So when I say environment, I mean, how are we moving and what are we putting into the body? That's creating the cellular environment in the body, and then our actual external environment. Are we safe? Are we experiencing things that are stressing us out and affecting the hormones? See, all these things are what changes things in the body. And so people say, oh, well, you don't want to restrict your eating so significantly because the body will slow the metabolism. And this is the place where I think there's a huge bridge to bring fasting into the medical system more broadly and have deeper conversations, is people think, and it's a myth, that the metabolism is static, that it can never change, that maybe you're born with it or you have a genetically slow metabolism. But we have to see, okay, and I'm talking, I would love to have interviews. I invite any nutritionist or doctor or someone, including if you disagree, I would love to open this up and have deeper discussions, and we can bring in every piece of medical literature that you want, and we can look at all the studies and have a deep discussion on it. Do you see, though, you're arguing for people not to practice fasting and, in fact, creating fear of it because you don't want the metabolism to slow down. Okay, therefore, can we at least agree that the metabolism can change? You see that? If it was faster and then it could slow down, okay? And what I want to tell people, if it can slow down, it can definitely speed back up again, okay? This is a dynamic process. And once you start to realize that, say, have you felt stuck? Have you feel like the metabolism is slow? Well, I want to give you hope and encouragement. Okay, don't be afraid of this because it can improve. You can get out of it. Like, have you ever heard of it? Like, have you heard someone who was stuck in a place and was struggling to lose weight, but then they figured it out? And then you saw them a couple years later and it's like, oh, like things changed. Like, yes, this does happen. I have seen it happen hundreds of times, which is why I was inspired to really dive in and focus on it. Now I'm running a fasting clinic so that I can help to share this perspective with more people. Pat is here. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. How are you? I hope you are doing so well. So don't need to be afraid of that. The metabolism can change. The fact that if we get in a situation where the metabolism can slow down, this is a very, very positive thing if you, in the big picture. This is how a human being can stay alive. The body becomes more and more efficient. We get more and more function in life out of less and less. You know, I did the session the other day on treading lightly, and you know, I was really getting into that space. Like, the ability of the human system actually to tread lightly on the planet is so huge. And then, you know, our perspective has been so warped, in my view, by industrial culture and the consumption that has exploded out of the Industrial Revolution, and especially the post-World War II economic explosion, that it's like it's even hard for us to take a step back, you know, and get some perspective. But I think it's really good to try to do. Now, from the standpoint, I totally resonate, okay? From the standpoint, someone trying to lose weight, I can totally understand. And I think it's reasonable and rational to say, well, I am afraid of triggering that. I don't want to trigger that. Okay, but let's look even deeper on it about if were to be cutting back and the metabolism is slowing down, even if it couldn't go backwards, you know, but it can. It does, okay? And everything I'm trying to help you do on the channel is actually to get the most benefit you can and keep the metabolism going as strong as possible. And you let me know if you want to talk more about that. I've gone through these cycles a lot in the past. But even if it didn't, to get into that space and find acceptance and see the good in it. And here's the thing. When people say, oh, the metabolism is slowing down, it doesn't stop. So this is the thing. Sometimes, have you ever felt that way if you've been stuck in a space? It's like, is my metabolism even going? I say, okay, it is going. It absolutely is. The metabolism, the more I see it, is another type of conversation with the body. And this, I think, is how we really unlock it to get into this space. Say, I like to use this type of word, like unlock, because it can feel like the energy is trapped in the body. How do we get there? And to me, I'm trying to help us think really outside of the box. I say, what knows more about the body than the heart? You know what I mean? And we've been on this whole kick for a few days. Start listening to the heart. Start getting into this place. Heart, think of it as the big energy distributor in the body. It's keeping the blood flowing. It's always working. Heart is a huge muscle. It's bigger than the bicep. You know, maybe not some big NFL player, but Dr. Z it is. And so, you know, this muscle is always going, and it is doing a lot of work. That's what generates the blood pressure, right? It is creating force in the body, and that takes a lot of energy to do. So even just the heart is using the energy in the body. The energy does not come from nowhere, you see. And so the metabolism is fueling that, and then hormonally it is controlled. Where is that metabolism? Where is it at? Is a conversation. And so when we are trying to say, oh, if we have had practices slowing that down, body fat is there. Body knows how to do it. I'm trying to get us on this inward journey. Help us unlock it, if you see that. Motion. So don't be afraid of that. Other things that have come up on the channel lately, fear of social judgment. This is the type of thing that comes up. I run in this, you know, in fasting a lot in the clinic. Someone comes in for a consult for weight or diabetes, and we're talking about, oh, you might adjust, you know, the diet like this. Even within our own house, right? If we have a partner that does not really like this idea, like we've got, even within one person, we've got, you know, social issues that are making it difficult to move forward. And then we don't have to, you know, move the next layer out to the extended family or to friends, where you say, you know, in a consumption culture, Dr. Z, I can hear him saying, find peace through fasting. It makes sense in the body, but then we take a step outward and it's like, you know, takes a little bit. I tell people, don't be afraid of it. And in the first step, have you heard of it called the spotlight effect? Like, we tend to care a lot more about ourselves. Camera always seems to be on us, but most people don't really care. So like, take the pressure off most people. Sometimes you run into someone who really does care, okay? So most of the time, we can realize we are projecting a lot of our fear onto other people that come back, okay? We want to stop all of that. And then we realize that situation runs backwards, that when we do run into the person who really does seem to care, that care is actually more of a reflection about their experience than it is about ours. They are upset about something because they see a powerful move to change, and it is like a mirror to them. Okay, so that can start to bring compassion to us. Maria's here. Hello. Good to see you today. I hope you're doing so well today. Fear of failure and fear of success. Thank you for bringing that up. Oh my goodness. Yeah, fear of success. People say, are you kidding? Like, is that a real thing? But it is a real thing, absolutely. Sometimes that might be even the big thing, because The Mountain is You. I'll get back to that book. I love that. It was showing us that in some fashion, that what we see as self-sabotaging behavior, they would say things that I don't really like, but that continue in a cycle, are actually serving us in some fashion. And maybe very, very deeply, maybe subconsciously, maybe it's heading way down into some wounds that are below anything we've thought about, even in decades. And to actually succeed of something, you say we fear it because all of a sudden it's taking away something that is actually meeting that need. I think a big point of that book has been, how do we really meet our needs in healthy ways? And when we start doing that, which means really deeply and profoundly taking care of ourselves and giving ourselves the love and acceptance that maybe we've never really had, giving ourselves that gift, is how we actually break out of cycles that we have been in for a long time. But that is taking a big step into the unknown. And so fear of succeeding in that fashion is leaving something that has felt very safe for a long time. And maybe that is even harder than fear of failure. Failure, not necessarily so bad under some circumstances, because it can mean that you don't really have to change. And change, of course, is the type of thing that we really are called to, right? Life, our personal legend here. I want to get to this. I want to read this passage to you. Our personal legend is a path of change, is a path of becoming something new. And just like the butterfly that I got in Peru, it's like that is a process of transformation, And butterfly, I don't know, what's it like to be a caterpillar and turn into a butterfly? Can't you envision that it's a little bit of a painful process in the cocoon and like wings busting out, and I don't know. My son has 2 teeth that are not coming out properly. He's getting his teeth pulled today. You think about just getting his teeth pulled. Thank God we can numb the things up now, and it's not so bad. You think how many people have had nasty teeth just ripped out of their mouth, and they used to liquor people up to just help people tolerate it. So just 2 little teeth, give you so much trouble, not whole wings busting out of your body like a metamorphosis, a total change. What was our quote yesterday? I try to remember all these quotes from Rumi. Was that just yesterday? About turning, that love helps us turn our pain into progress. I thought that was very beautiful. Difficult, but beautiful, but real, real. Yeah, the last one I wrote on my little list, the last big fear that has been coming up, that we can't change, that we actually can't do it, and especially the idea that comes up in the weight loss space so much that I really have come to despise, that we are broken in some fashion, that we can't, that we are not able even to do it, but that the body has been damaged by some sort of process in a way that has now made it impossible for us to fulfill our personal legend. That's what we're going to get to. It's not true. It isn't true. We can do it. We can change and grow at any age, at any stage, in any process, because really the process of growing is just looking toward the light, connecting with the heart, moving forward in love, you know. None of us who are older, it's like we're not going back to when we are 19, right? Like we are not going to develop a fountain of youth. Okay, but we can become the healthiest version of ourselves that could possibly exist at this age and this stage. That is the practical thing that we can do. I've been thinking about that personally a lot as I've been running with all these kids on the track team. And I'm like, man, I have really got to work at this. When in the past it was not such a struggle, but that's how it goes. Okay, I have a little book of notes from this book where I read, and I just had one little section that was one of my favorite parts. The boy, Santiago, he's traveling, he runs into an old man. And I just read you a little bit of this section so you can get the flavor. I hope you like it. The old man wanted to talk, and he asked the boy what book he was reading. And the boy was tempted to be rude and to move over to another bench. But his father had taught him to be respectful of the elderly, so he held out the book to the man for two reasons. First, that he himself wasn't sure how to pronounce the title, and second, that if the old man didn't know how to read, he'd probably feel ashamed and decide to move away to a different bench himself. Said the old man, looking at the book as if it were some sort of strange object. This is an important book, but it's really irritating. The boy was shocked. The old man knew how to read, and he'd already read the book, and if the book was irritating, as the old man had said, perhaps he still had time to change it for another. This is a book that says the same thing almost all the other books in the world say, continued the old man, and describes people's inability to choose their own personal legends. And it ends up saying that everyone believes the world's greatest lie. And what is the world's greatest lie? The boy asked, completely surprised. It is this, that at a certain point in our lives, we lose control of what's happening to us, and our lives become controlled by fate. That is the world's greatest lie. And then he flows into this space where the old man reveals that he is actually a king from a far-off land. He then asks the boy, "How many sheep do you have?" "I have enough," said the boy, and he could see that this man wanted to know more about his life. "Well, then, we've got a problem. I can't help you if you feel you have enough sheep." The boy was very irritated. He wasn't asking for help. It was the old man who had asked for a drink in the first place and started the conversation. "Give me my book," the boy said. "I have to go and gather my sheep and get going." "Give me 1/10 of your sheep," the old man said, "and I will tell you how to find the hidden treasure." Before the boy could say anything, the old man leaned over, picked up a stick, and began to write in the sand of the plaza. Something bright reflected from his chest with such intensity that he was momentarily blinded. With a movement that was too quick for someone of his age, the man covered whatever it was with his cape, and when his vision returned to normal, the boy was able to read what he had written in the sand. There on the sand of the plaza of that small city, the boy read the names of his father and mother, the name of the seminary he had attended. I am the king of Salem, the old man said. And why would a king be talking to a shepherd? The boy asked, awed and embarrassed. For several reasons, but let's say that the most important is that you have succeeded in discovering your personal legend. It's what you have always wanted to accomplish. Everyone, when they are young, knows what their personal legend is. At that point in their lives, everything is clear. Everything is possible. They are not afraid to dream. They yearn for everything they would like to see happen to them in their lives. But as time passes, a mysterious force begins to convince them that it will be impossible for them to realize their personal legend. It's a force that appears to be negative, but actually shows you how to realize the legend. It prepares your spirit and your will, because there is one great truth. There is one great truth on this planet. Whoever you are, whatever it is that you do, when you really want something, it is because that desire originated in the soul of the universe. It is your mission on Earth. Even when all you want to do is travel, said the boy. Yes, or even search for treasure. The soul of the world is nourished by people's happiness and also by their unhappiness, envy, and jealousy. To realize one's personal legend is a person's only real obligation. And when you want something, you move toward it with your heart. All the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it. That's one little story from the book. That's the idea of the book. Do you believe that that is true? It's fascinating to think about, I say. A desire that we have, is it something that you want? It's something that you wish to be in the world. When you open up the space, do you feel it like a calling, something that you should do, or something that you're afraid of? That's the fear. What this book, like so many other books, show. It's often the thing that we are afraid of, the thing that comes in where you say, oh, I could never do that, that is actually the thing we have to do. And why is that? Like the king is saying, that it appears to be a negative force, but it's actually the thing that prepares you to do it. And this is what the War of Art shows. We should do that. The resistance. This is why, we got to dive back into that and get into this artistic, creative perspective, because the things that we feel resistance to are the things that are most important to us oftentimes. The calling that we have is a path to overcome fear. That's what we are saying here. So many things that we're afraid of, we are only afraid of them because we know we might have to do them. This is the thing. And this is the process that the book shows. That's the process of strengthening our spirit in order to actually have the ability within ourselves to do the thing that we really want. Things that are meaningless to us, that we know we'll never have to do because they aren't part of our personal legend. We can't be afraid of them because we know that they aren't on our path. When something is important to us, we tend to feel resistance as this barrier because it's asking the question, do you really want this? for whatever reason, the way this life is, like most things that we are called to. It's like most things that are good and valuable and worthwhile take some amount of struggle. It's an investment, to be able to attain it. So this is the paradox that we sit in. That the whole goal of everything that we are doing is to eliminate struggle, to make things as easy as possible. Recognizing that almost everything of value in life seems to require an unlock that is a process to work through. And as far as I can see, and I will continue reading as many books as I have time to do, and sharing every good piece of insight, that the way that we navigate that paradox and flow through it is by accepting the struggle and coming to peace with it. And as we come to peace with it, it's like dissolving it, bringing the barrier down, or this is how we step over it. Something that society views as difficult, a fasting space. We accept it, and we open ourselves up to it. And we use that mirror and that pattern of openness to bring openness and acceptance and love and patience into our whole life and being. And all of a sudden, something that was difficult, something that we may have struggled with for a long time, is something that we can flow through, and it can carry us on toward our goal. That's what gets us toward that sailboat. That's what I like to say. Fasting, I like to say, is like a sailboat. Let fasting do the work. The wind is blowing, right? The metabolism is a wind, whether it slowed down or it didn't, okay? We are catching the wind, and we are letting it blow through a space and carry us on toward the space we are trying to go. I love that. Let fasting do the work. Peace and love and contentment, is this the treasure that we are really seeking? Just like the alchemist, I won't spoil it for you, but what he's really seeking, not so far away, this is what I want people to see. We don't have to accomplish something in the future in order to find all of these things. It is finding that sort of space, peace, love, contentment, and patience, and kindness, and joy. That we find these things. This is what helps us flow through moments of struggle. Someone who hasn't found that, okay, who's trying to brute force and white-knuckle their way through a thing, who's not built these tools, often finds that a process of any kind is not sustainable, right? We want to dig down into these deepest layers, realize the treasure is already here, and we can have this beautiful, calm, emotional state now, and actually use that to then go through and manifest the thing that we want. Absolutely love it. Love it. I thought I'd do a little exercise here at the end for us, if you want. After we've heard this story, we're thinking about personal legend. What is our calling? When we take a moment to silence the noise, what do we actually hear from the heart? I say just take a few moments here. Take a couple deep breaths. Try to get out of the mind. When you hear personal legend, when you hear the thing that is, in that quiet moment, what am I really afraid of today? That might be the negative force, like the king said, that is building up our spirit to overcome it. What do you hear? Whatever that is, I say, take a look at this quote again. Don't give in to your fears, okay? If you do, you won't be able to talk to the heart, okay? Instead, take the fear and talk to the heart about it. That's what I would say. You hear the message, whatever it is. Say, I need to make some sort of change, whatever it is. I need to move in a healthier direction. But just acknowledge it. Tell the heart, but I am afraid of this. I don't think this is going to go well. I think this is going to be difficult. Don't turn away for it. That's like the quote from the other day. Keep the heart open through everything. Heart is there to help you. Heart probably, as I'm seeing it, probably putting that thing there, that feeling, heart probably put it there to start with. And so when you start interacting and leaning into it, heart's like, oh yeah, like we can work with this now. Work with it. That's what I say. Work with the heart. I guess I leave you with this in this day. I hope this day is a centered space. I hope that you have some space in it where you can hear that call of your own personal legend in your journey. I encourage you to lean into it. Bring every bit of joy and patience and love to it, and have a conversation with yourself, with the heart. Hey, we're on a journey together, and let's move forward together and overcome this thing that we are afraid of on our path. And I think you'll find that that process and dialogue is enriching. And if you need some more inspiration, go pick up a copy of The Alchemist and read it. Come back to this video. Throw your comments in the comments for this video, and let's have an ongoing talk about the book. What a gem. All right. Really nice to share this space with you today. I hope you have a beautiful day. I look forward to chatting with you again soon. Have a great day, everybody.